you're feeling today. Welcome to Monday. It could be morning, it could be afternoon, it could be night, it could be early Tuesday. Where you at? How you doing? We are live here today, just putting stuff out there, just talking. Just got through doing some working on video project, you know, and just kind of getting a feel on. Gonna keep it really simple. Let's get this question up. Let me get this real quick. It's a pretty self-explanatory one. We don't really have to think about it, but we gonna talk about it because it should be front page news. It should be like something that people really are talking about because it is the biggest story going. I mean, really. Jeffrey Epstein's ex-girlfriend came out and she pointed out Trump Association and all that. So I'm like, yeah, it's fair game. It's fair game. You know. Um, Funny how people don't want certain things out. They got a problem with it. You talk about it. Well, if someone tries to bully, try to manipulate the situation, it's fair game. And the stuff that he didn't pull, so I don't have no problem with it at all. I think it need to be talked about a lot more. Um, the bottom line is the recklessness and the embarrassment and everything on a world level, and all this is going on is really deep and profound. So yeah, it's something that is real. It's gonna be the undoing. I really believe as more and more comes out by association. You know what they say about birds of a feather that tend to flock together. So people, I don't know, when you're growing up, whoever was your parent or grandparents or relatives told you, be wise with your choices of company that you keep. Be careful who you call a friend by association, because everybody ain't, they ain't always good for you, and you never know how these things are gonna go. So just keeping the 100, I'm keeping the buck on this one. This thing here is about to, yeah, it's not a good look. But hey, that arrogance, that smug, hey, we here for it. We're here to talk about it, here about putting it down. Just want to make sure that I get at it. So yeah, so I thought I'd come along. We're gonna talk about this. We're gonna go into it. Something to kind of like talk about, see where people are on it. Because I think that it's one of those things that it has to be discussed. You ran Diddy through, so why not run him through? You put R. Kelly through, so why not put him through? Everybody else gets aired out. You an entertainer. You got your SAG card in Hollywood, so hey, fair game. And by association, you know, because that whole thing about going after Stephen Colbert, which I wasn't even a fan of that show, but because of in light of everything that's going on, it's like wow, this thing is trying to manipulate everything that you see, everything that's going on. So we gotta talk about it. Hello, how you doing? What's happening? What's going on? Let me know where you're coming from and holla. I think that I had to put this question up 5 months ago. I don't think nobody would have probably much even, but now people's attitudes have changed quite considerably because I think that hey, it's fair game, and now things are not looking so good economically, spiritually, metaphorically. So there's a lot going on, and who all is tied into this? You know, it's etching this chain. So there's a lot going on. A lot going on. So, but anyway, we are we're just talking about it. We're gonna see where we go with this. I think it needs to be discussed. The gamut runs pretty deep, and the things, the logic, and what you're trying to put into say. So, I'm not gonna say that people's ideology has changed. I'm not gonna say that but you're going to see some people that are gonna like, wait a minute, enough's enough. So we're gonna see. As usual is the case, I will see how long people come through, and the more conversation comes through, I will be here, and then we'll go from there. got some videos coming and I got some stuff to say, so we shall see how it all plays itself out. We shall definitely see what goes on, and we'll see what you know. But we know old racist perv. We know what's up. We know what's up, and stuff has been proven already. It's there. It's there. So people can try to sugarcoat stuff and act like, oh well, but no, there is no denying when you got everything that's going on. So anyway, we'll be on here for a minute. What's happening? How you doing? Thank you for coming through. Appreciate it coming through. I think the only people who don't want this to be the downfall of Trump are like the mega ones, because them patty with good common sense knows that you don't usually escape this without some backlash. You don't escape this without something in there. It's too deep. It means too much to people, and I think that because of what's going on with the economy and also with all the it's see this is the thing. It's not even about deport. It's the way he's going about his strong arm of people. He's breaking families up. There are people who come for education. They come for the betterment, and his whole thing is on some just rogue. So I think that's what it's affecting. So I think that now it's really becoming like, oh, we didn't understand how deep this was. But now we got something that, hey, his character is shady. Well, we're just gonna see. So we shall see. I like to think people have some morals, but I don't think they do. We'll see though. I don't. I think that if they weren't dumb enough to vote for that guy, this thing is like real, and I have to feel that way because it's like you see what he's been about. People weren't making it up. People weren't making it up about how they felt about him. They weren't, and it's a shame because it's like nothing never changes. The same old thing. So it's just the latest. It's just the latest. So tomorrow, if everything goes right, I'm gonna talk about the Ice Cube Aries Spears thing. I'll do that tomorrow. But this is too big to ignore. This is huge. This is like the elephant, the bear, the giraffe, the zebra, the lion, the whole animal planet. It's in one room. You can't ignore this because it's the hottest story going. And Trump always likes to be the center of attention, so be careful what you wish for, because now you are the center of it. You got everybody's attention, and how you gonna play it off, Turkey? I probably would have gone a different direction with some other stuff, but because this is so hot and heated, you can't. You can't. And we'll be here for a minute. I'm gonna see what people come on. We're gonna see what we working with. Some days, of course, what's depends on where you are in the world. We're in the middle of summertime, so we'll see. Um, but of course, I go by based on what everybody comes through, what have you. Um, I'll definitely come back tomorrow. I was out yesterday, so I'll be back tomorrow. See what we got. See what's going on. This is the big story though, and its impact on a lot because there's a lot of this that's going on, the behaviors and everything. So we shall see. You know, when you go in on something, people like, I saw the whole thing with Epstein's ex girlfriend, and so she put it there. I know it's a known fact that birds of a feather tend to flock together. It's just a matter of it. They know. It's like sometimes you can't leave well enough alone. And see, the problem with Trump is that he wanted to get back in the presidency. Well, he wanted to so he could keep his butt out of lockup. That's why Musk hooked his behind up. But the problem is now is that he fell out with Musk. He fallen out with some folks, and now people are not going to cover those tracks. So it's going to be interesting. And I do believe that the Epstein is going to be a big part of the downfall. Epstein Gate is real, coming to a theater near you. So we're going to definitely see how it all plays itself out. I think it's going to be real. I think it's going to be hard to not come back from aspects of this because of the reluctance and the smug. The smug and the smog. So we shall see. We shall see. But anyway, starting off live today and just goes on for a minute. So I'll see when anybody comes through. If nothing is buzzing today, I'll probably be on for like 20 more minutes. I thought I'd come in and see if anybody was on. A nice little chat in, see what we're working with. I know it's a good day for some people. The weather's nice. I know what we're getting, so we just gonna chill. Just starting off kind of. Mm-hmm. So some days be more than others, but it is Monday. Depends on where you are. It's a trip out thing too, because when we get past the middle part of summertime, people start dreading back to school, and summer's halfway over. It's just a recurring theme over and over again. Summer's always hit a certain way, so always has. We just in the middle of it all. What's happening? How you doing? Your timing is good. You got me exclusively. And if you want to ask some questions, feel free. Because if you talk to me, I'll be on at least an hour. But I need to have conversation. And sometimes with the notifications, you know how it is. But also because of I understand it's in between. But sometimes things just be jammed up, jammed down. So, but what's on your mind? Feel free to talk. I've been on for about 14 minutes, so let's see what we got. Hope you're doing good and hope your weekend's been good. let's see what we on what's on the kind of agenda today. It's kind of got kind of quiet though lately. We'll see though. Was Whitney Houston wrong? No, I think that she thought that Wendy was playing her. I mean, I would have probably chose a different way of saying stuff, but I understood why Whitney felt like she did, and she didn't like how she was being addressed. Um, so she called her out. However, nowadays Wendy Williams would be like was actually ahead of the curve because that's how everybody's doing. Most of the people who be talking on these streams is actually eating off her plate for Martinized. Because if you think about it, a lot of them they doing exactly what she was doing, and she got ran off for what she was just exposing Hollywood. I didn't say Wendy wasn't. I understand why Whitney did. I just said that in Wendy's defense, though, Wendy wasn't wrong and she went after about Clive Davis. That's the thing that she couldn't tell Whitney because Whitney knew how that game went. But as far as the other stuff, but then Whitney was you know was compulsive to certain type of behaviors. But that's what you're privy to. But we could see stuff was going on with Whitney though. So that's all. And I'm not saying that Whitney had every right to come after her. Whitney was wrong about some things. Wendy was right about a lot of stuff though about how the industry worked though. She wasn't lying though. She wasn't lying. They ran her out, and that ain't Britney Spears that put her in a conservatory. But a lot of people eating off of her plate though. That's all I'm saying. Jennifer Hudson don't have a show without Wendy. A lot of these podcasts is people that's doing stuff. That was the Wendy Williams effect. The black juice. Just saying. So, but anyway, I remember. It's funny that you asked that. I remember that like yesterday. I remember Mariah Carey when that Whitney. I never seen a male guy except for Diddy. Diddy's the only one that got a little edgy with Wendy, but everybody else, she was cool and calm. She had R. Kelly in the car. She had Sugar in the car. Prince talked to her. Everybody talked to Wendy. So let me put it to you like this: if she was so bad, then she wouldn't get A-listers. She did that before it was fashionable. So Wendy had like a podcast now, but she did that. I saw that mess. He's trying to come across all formal and intellectualized. What he needed to do is just go ahead and take the test and let that thing ride where it is. The long winded, the more you drag stuff and you put all these disclaimers out, the more suspect you sound. He sounds very suspect. Besides, what he don't know is that you could end up paying anyway. Michael Jordan had to pay $5 million to a white woman that it wasn't even his kid back in '91. It happens. Sometimes you gotta take that L, put your pride down. But he trying to be all long winded. They obviously got enough juice on it to where it's got some legs, though. It wouldn't be at this stage 10 years later. So obviously, he's trying to come across like he's what's the term I want to use? He wants to come off like he's proper and well enlightened and educated and all this dignified. That's what he's trying to do because he don't want to be called a perv that he's what he did. And that thing because of the image that they portraying him as now. That's the reality. This all about his image. This ain't got to do with nothing. He don't. But it's not because of what you think. It's because the woman was underage. That's what's got him. Because see, you got to remember they didn't sold him as some kind of I don't know. They trying to make him into this like a father knows, but they trying to make him put him as a certain way right now, and it's a very misguided situation, but I know what they're trying to do. I know what they're trying to. So, well, you know, Brian McKnight did that. Try to downplay his first kids too. This ain't nothing new. This happens a lot. People act like they don't have no past until they got to pay that child support. Then they remember. They remember. But I tell you before, his business is janky, and it's just a matter of time for something comes up with him. It's gonna stick. It's gonna stick. So I got this poll now. These people don't think Jeffrey Epstein's gonna because they're Trumpicans. That's all. I think anybody who really realizes there's gonna be something to this Jeffrey Epstein thing. There's something more to it. Well, when you're talking about children and child support, and if you're talking about a situation where he's again, if he comes off where he was a father of this child, and remember what I told you about association with R. Kelly and association with Diddy, birds of a feather. Think about it. Except Diddy didn't get hit with that, but I'm just saying he's trying to come across with this. But if you don't take the test and you're downplaying, you drag it out. People have been given readings that they know that the Carters are gonna be going through some stuff, and it's gonna be slowly, and then you're starting to see it. You're starting to see it because he's getting hit left and right. There are things in the past that you don't bring up, but there's certain things that they are. So that's how we're looking at it. Okay. If you got more you'd like to say, feel free. I welcome it, welcome it, welcome it. Okay, now feel free to give me some comments. Let's get some conversation going. No, no, no. She's not. I don't get. She's not. Her clothes ain't hanging off. I mean, she's not wearing anything that's revealing. She wears her hair up, which gives her face more of the youthful appeal. She wears her hair in that bow, so it's not like she. No, I don't think she's doing anything extra. No, I don't see any problem with how she's dressed. My only issue with her is her music's like I'm cool with her doing the greatest hits thing live and all that. I just don't really care about no new music coming from her because it ain't gonna be about nothing. And that's the sad part. As a stylist, she won't do anything that will revolve that. But at this stage, no, she's not doing anything that I consider inappropriate. Nothing like that. I don't drink that she dresses like she's trying to be teen or 21. She just Close look all right. I think it's that I don't see any growth as an artist. That's all. As a stylist. Oh yeah, it's already in the can. It was a trilogy of the whole thing. It's just a matter of when it'll come out. Oh yeah, she always got this. The next one is the last of the three records because it was the disco one, the dance, and then it was the country. So I don't know what the next one will be, but that's the trilogy. I foresee she'll have at least 10 solo records out, and then I think she'll go off into the sunset. That's how I kind of look at it. I think the fans will pretty much be worn out with it because there's been so much of her, and so sure they will be. You gotta pay a lot of money out. I think that's what it was to get some sympathy because the so-called stuff got took, which it was probably people's songs that she took anyway. Trying to generate some buzz though. I think she stopped showing growth until I think she showed growth till like Velvet Rope, but that got kind of corny. I ain't felt nothing after El Velvet Rope that I would even waste my time with. It's just pretty much the same old standard to me. I think that she got when her peak at her window was the Rhythm Nation up to about 95. So I'll give you the first 10. There was 10 that I give you, but a lot of her career just, you know. But when you start talking about artistic growth, I got to see stuff where I go, oh, wow, you're leaps and bounds and you're this and that. I don't look at her like that. She worked her behind off. I'll give her that. But as far as like sitting around here like, oh, this was like that, no. So that's how I look at that. Janet Jackson fans are kind of, people can be real biased and funny. But I don't think nobody's actually been sweating her records like that. Just saying. Not the people I know. They respect her, how hard work she worked and what she's done, but nobody like, oh, you know. We haven't had Janet Jackson debates about her album since Velvet Rope, if I'm honest. So anyway, do we have any more questions we're gonna ask? Cause I want to know. I don't think I'm getting a lot of buzz today. I know I have to come back to mine. Do you think she would have been bigger? No, no. Let me address that. That impacted her as far as her business by association, but it didn't affect what she was as an artist because her artistry and his so she's like a junior whopper version of her brother. Okay, the blueprint of popular R&B, crossover appeal, etc., etc. But no, because she doesn't have a dynamic voice for one. She had catchy good songs, but she wasn't no Whitney Houston. It ain't like you hear her voice and go, "Oh." Like Reeby's a better singer, but Reeby ain't got no personality, and Reeby can't really sell her music. She's catchy, but she can't move it like Janet. Now, if Janet had a voice like that, and them songs hit, then your Michael would have something to worry about. So that would have pretty much almost eliminated that. She was able to make movies. Think about it. Her film career took off right during that time. So can't say that that was the case because she did that Nutty Professor. That was huge. Problem with her is that she that Timberlake thing messed her more than Michael did because she ended up paying the price, and that backfired more than Michael did. She was at her apex though. I'd say about 93. I would say about 93, 94. She still was pretty big though. She was still pretty big. So no, that's why when he did Scream, he had her on the hook. So that's how I remember that. So I don't think it didn't help, but it didn't hurt. Let's say it like that. By association last name, but it didn't take her. She was hot right there. That album did quite well. 93, 94. She had a big year. She was touring. She was doing quite well. Because that was actually her biggest foray. 93, 94. Because That's the Way Love Goes was a huge hit. So okay, if we still got anybody still left, everybody can communicate. Because I will be I'm looking to see if there's any more words coming through. No, I did. Well, no, I only said because you asked me the question. And she was big in 93, 94 because as you did, I lived through it too. And I just said that because asking when you asked me, did the cola thing, she had a Coke endorsement and it did, but she still was big in 93, 94. But that whole thing with Timberlake did her in. That was worse than her brother. That was worse. That really about nearly took her out with that. Yeah, there was different aspects and they were interesting. That era was completely different. Oh, okay, okay. I was just addressing what you would ask because I don't think it really did. And I do know that when they did Scream, he got her because she was the hot voice. That's why he hooked it up with Jamie Lewis. That was a business move, though. I don't think it was necessarily. He ended up did like jamming them. He liked them cats, but I was more of a business PR move when he worked with them. Now I can tell you, he kind of fell out with Teddy Riley. I'll tell you that. Him and Teddy wasn't all buddy buddy. If they worried, they had more tracks on the history with him. Because Michael is one thing. Michael's a formula driven cat, and he doesn't run from what's happening. He always keeps something that's happening. He keeps a stash. Because he did multiple projects with R. Kelly, and with Riley, he was dangerous, and then you know. So, okay. What's he say? Did you know? Man, nothing is new under the sun. It's always like people who that was typical back in that day. People would cover people's songs left and right, and the labels would do it. What's happening? How you doing? Nothing new, except get somebody who could get access to it though. You talking about Frankie Valley in the Four Seasons versus the Fifth Dimension? Because that's the only seasons I know. You asking me who would I take? I listen to the Four Seasons more, but I probably would take the Fifth Dimension. Harmony was Fifth Dimension, but the Four Seasons. My favorite NBA player today, Shea Chris Alexander is probably my favorite going today. If I go by the last decade, it was Steph Curry. But today, I like Shea the best. I like watching Shea play. I had a lot of different favorite players though. Who's your favorite player? I like the way Shea plays on. I said Shea Greggs Alexander, Shea, world champion. And usually I still watch Steph Curry. Yeah, SGA. And I always keep an eye on Curry though. Curry's someone I keep an eye on. I always will. No. I don't like Tatum like that. I can respect what he's done, but something is missing with me and Tatum. I can't put my finger on it. He's one of those kind of people. He's got a lot of the right parts, but then there's that part he don't got right. I just can't get with. Like if him and Jalen Brown was one person, they'd be right now probably one of the 20 greatest players ever. If him and Jalen Brown were one person, because I like what JB got as far as his aggressiveness, and then Tatum's got the poise and got the personality. So if you put those two worlds together, that'd be one bad dude. Because they got to go through hardship before they find, uh, they go through that whole thing. They get taught that. See, a lot of times people spend a lot of time wasting time with just thinking because it was cool and fashionable, until they drain your pockets and drain your mind. But the cats that are professional aren't gonna give them the time of day because they're not going for the jive. That's where a lot of women get themselves caught up and problematic. They rather have someone who doesn't challenge them intellectually. So they'd rather have someone that they think they can stand over that fits a certain criteria. That's the stereotype. Actually, it comes down to the mental economics. Now, because he wasn't better than Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown, I bust that cake. He never shows up in big stuff. Jalen comes up big. He just do. Tatum is one of those guys. He just doesn't have that kind of DNA. It doesn't come off like that. He got everything that you want regular season. He's got all the credentials, but he doesn't have that next thing, that it. He ain't Steph Curry. He ain't got that it. He ain't SGA. He ain't got that it. I'm just telling you when you see a guy that's got that it. Kawhi Leonard had the it. Jokic got that it. Giannis got that it. If Jason Tatum played with that kind of emotion and took it on, oh yeah. Because listen, he played for the Boston Celtics. He's one of the 10 best players going in today's game. You got all of everything going your way. You just got to play the role. You playing for the Celtics. Should you come up big, you win in Boston and you do the whole thing, they'll be calling you. Yeah, they'll put you as one of the 12, 13 greatest players ever. You come up right. He just doesn't have that yet. I don't look at him as I do, Larry Bird. I told you what I said. He ain't playing like Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown bust the knobs in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Pacers, and he stepped up against the Mavericks. Yeah, you can throw stats at me, but no one that talks basketball gonna tell you that Jason Tatum is one of those dudes. He ain't one of those dudes. Nice try with the points. Um, Access to professional. Well, it's the way they carry themselves. How about just decent, ordinary men they go to church with, though, Charlene, and how they look across them and just look past them. We don't even have to even talk about professional men. We can just talk about everyday brothers walking them down the street, who's friendly, polite, courteous, and just treat him like he's the milkman and treat him like he's a buster. We don't even have to talk about that. See, you before you don't even know professional or unprofessional, but how your conversation goes is the tell. So that's how I go about it. Like if a woman has got class and style, or she rude and belligerent, then you can tell. So it all depends on what you're looking for. We put titles on people. How about putting person respect and personality on them? Put some respect by their name. That's all I go by. So and see, it says a lot about their character. So if you like thugs and you like cats that's bullying and beating you up, then you ain't really. Well, there ain't no growth if you dating with the thug or the bad boy because you gotta have a challenge. It is a challenge. What growth is there when someone is like got 13 other girls lined up and you just in the stack of the Rolodex. They ain't bringing nothing to the table and they using you up and they just running game. How's that growth? That ain't no growth. That's why it's a challenge. That's why you do. If you're not being challenged, then you're not growing. See how I did that? Because you're supposed to meet your better half to complement your soul. Growth is your enlightenment. That's the challenge that you're enlightened. If you ain't enlightened me, we ain't doing nothing. We wasting time. We just good for what we do it for, but we ain't going nowhere because you can't respect them. And a lot of times when women don't want respect. So you're saying a mouthful with that. Well, relationship growth, you still got to have communication. So she messing with a bad boy. He sure as heck ain't gonna be a deep thinker, not perception wise. So it all depends on what you're looking for. And sometimes you get women who want to act like they stand over a guy because they want to put him down because he's lower level, and then in the cheer level. And sometimes, it's like make up your mind. But they tolerate it. You just got to say asking why they do it. And I'm telling you, that's exactly. So they're not really about anybody can challenge them fundamentally. They want a good time. Don't want to think. I've been there. I tell you that all the time. I had a good friend of mine. She got involved with a man. I told her back in the day, you know, 'cause y'all was just in that thirst quench. Y'all was just about that thirst. Wasn't no depth there. And sometimes you can see it. Even you can see it. That thirst trap be real. You stay thirsty. You drink anything. But when you want something that's gonna stick to you, you make your you make sure that you take your time with what you put in your system. It's a big difference. So that's all I gotta say about that. problem with Tatum is he wants to be to the Paul Pierce, Larry Bird. He got a chance to halfway match that, but he don't take over when it counts. You can't play for that Celtic team and not be that leader. That's what I'm getting at. Jalen Brown's problem is he scared white folk. That's the problem. That's what hurt him. Michael Jordan in the blowout. Please don't insult my intelligence. That's not even up for discussion. It's not close. Please give me any other. Don't say that. Please don't say that. LeBron couldn't carry Michael Jordan's tone. It's not even close. That's not what makes him a punk. What makes him a punk is the game that is being used. She do want that because she's accepting that street jargon. They do want it. They do. And it's not about unemployed or broke. She already come to know that she'll tolerate that. She's not even worried about that. She likes the mental capacity of the differential. But it's not that the punk aspect of it is that he can't communicate, that he can't express himself. That's why because she considers the cats that do that to be the punks, that they soft. See, that's the logic and the twistedness that goes on when you want the so-called bad boy, you want somebody to be the hood rat, all that other stuff, which is make believe. It's a twisted fantasy. It's a distorted vision. But who's telling you that mess? But that's what goes on. That's why Tyler Perry got all these movies and movies out because they got this fantasy that this illusion. And that's what it is. And a lot of these entertainers push this agenda too. The only time they end up with somebody decent is because nobody else wants they behind. And they get broken down. And it never ends well. You keep playing that role, it's always the same old song. Now, now. Because that a lot of them 51 to 100 SGA ain't in the top, ain't in the 100. So how, that list is bogus. How you gonna have Luca at 57 and no SGA? Luca got a runner-up appearance, but SGA had a one season that is all-time great. 68 win team, Finals MVP, uh, Western Conference Finals MVP, League MVP, scoring champ. And you gonna tell me he can't crack your top 50, top 60, 70? Can I get it? Can I at least get an asterisk with his name on it? That list don't count. So you know, just for the disrespect of him alone. And Joel Embiid ranked all high. Give me a break. That list is garbage. They just say stuff for clicks and views. I ain't got no problem with Steph Curry being top 10 because he changed the course of basketball. And also in his favor, even if he don't win another chip, let him play 3 more years and get 30,000 points. He got the numbers. He's got multiple rings. He's done it all. Can't argue against his career. I got no problem with that because that's not what it is. The Kobe situation is because this is because they treat him like R. Kelly and Diddy. This is what they're doing. This has got to do with a hit outside. This ain't got nothing to do with him on the court. Even though on the court he wasn't better than Shaq for my money. No, because he did play alongside. He was great, but there was a lot of downtime with him, and I got some personal frustration with some of the stuff he did as a Laker. Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know if that's a one side of a blue. Things like that do happen. There are a lot of women that fall in love with men that don't lock up. It happens. Can't say that that happens. But see, that's a whole different set right there. You had that dude in South Carolina who was that lawyer who took out the ex-wife and the son. So can't say that how do you typecast? Because there are people who all walks of life. and they have things that hit that trigger. So I don't know. But by and large, I'm going. Yeah, the case. I'm gonna tell you why. Let me address that. His is similar to Dirk. No, well, lawyer. The lawyer I was talking about, the one in South Carolina got busted. No, Giannis is similar to Dirk in that he had to prove himself. He came a long way, made himself great. Yeah, when you think about two-time league MVP, been a Finals MVP, all that, he not gonna be considered more talented than KG, but he gonna pass him up statistically. So yeah, he should be right between both of them. So why not? He way too low. He should be higher. He should be right there with Jokic. Because Giannis' story is far more impressive. Because who was his Jamal Murray in Milwaukee? I'm waiting. I'm waiting. And Giannis made himself into a great all around player. He's a better all around player too. Defender. He's a better defender than Dirk. And he carried more weight than KG. So I don't listen to what these turkeys be saying. Their problem is because he plays in Milwaukee, and the Dirk was bad. Don't get it twisted, because Dirk is underappreciated for what he did by running that. But well, I can't really say when a relationship is not real. The only thing I can say to address that is this: it depends on what people are willing to tolerate and who they're with. That's all I can say. Yeah, I seen that list. I did videos on it. I don't know if you watch my channel. I did a composed videos of it about a week ago. I talked about it. I did a two-part. I did the 1 through 50, then I did 51 through 100. What the problems I had with it. It's on my YouTube. And there's no way in the world Giannis should be that behind Jokic. Because they both are having problems in the postseason now. And, at least I could say with Giannis's case, he just doesn't have the squad. Joker's got no excuse. You supposed to be an assist man all around, man. Well, how come you can't get Jamal Murray to come up big? Aaron Gordon saved your behind this year. Without Aaron Gordon, your butt wouldn't have gotten out the first round. Firing your coach, how that work? All that hype that they give Jokic, all that so-called revolution they give him. They can't play no defense. They can't play no half set, and they end up everything's a track meet. So I don't understand. Yeah, he's great for what he do, but come on now. I'm like looking at them sideways. Jokic should be. They should be neck and neck. Him and Giannis should be like, 15, 16, something like that. Shouldn't be no gap. I can understand if Jokic had two or three rings, and then when you put all those triple doubles and all that stats he put up, but he's in the same boat, so I don't see that. I don't see it. And Zubaspa wore his behind out in the playoffs last year, so he could be in trouble. Denver don't get some pieces, they could be in trouble. Because he may have hit his peak in 2023, so we'll see. But anyway, that's all I got to say about that, Charlene. That's all depends on individuals. But there is that driving point if you the bad boy. You don't usually see dudes messing with the bad girls, though. They like freaks, but they don't want to wife them up. They don't want to mess with them. They don't want that because they know that they don't want that. So it's done in reverse psychology. That's a flip. Yeah, that's how I look at it. I don't really put a lot of stock, but I know what media and people try to sell you on. It's the same old mess. because a church going person is not judging for one. I mean, the Lord opened his heart to everybody. So maybe she opened her heart to a man that made sense to her. So I can't find fault with that. You're looking at it based on societal what she should be, but that was what was calling her calling. And maybe he made sense. Maybe she wanted to save a soul. Sometimes we attract people that we think we're going to save their souls at a point. It's not about necessary desperation, but maybe the person made sense. People are human beings at the end of the day, too. I think a lot of times people are looking for something. It's a one thing when you knowingly and this and that, but sometimes it's just like you going by the nature's call. Oh, because I don't look at life like a closed door. I don't get that at all. I don't understand the logic where because people are so quick to judge and they get set in their ways. People get older, they get worse. I don't understand that logic. I don't buy in it. You up here acting like you gonna be closed. That means that you didn't shut your life out, and that means that you're done. So put dust on you, bury you if that's how you gonna look at life. Because then you're already saying, well, that's you know. I mean, really, spirituality and how we connect with people reaches deep. So I don't sit around and think like, no, no. Thank you, though, Charlie. I appreciate that. I'm open minded about life because life is an open book. It should be an open book. We shouldn't be limiting ourselves. We ain't learned enough about what we are, who we are as people. Psychologically, there's a lot goes on. There's a lot of depths and layers to things. So to sit there and act like we just got to answer, and we had the answers to it, we would solve racism. We had the answers to it, we'd stop poverty. We had the answers to it, we would be more united. We would have a balance for people. We don't. We got enough too many closed-minded people. That's the problem. So no, it's a shame what happened to the woman. However, she went to find a purpose and a reason, and that man was maybe made sense and called her soul, and things happen. Because society is you're just because you're locked up don't mean that you're locked up. And people in the lockup control the outside. It's just this game that people got people thinking that you know it's all a matter of who gets in, gets out, sort of thing. But it's all So I don't shut nobody out because you don't have that luxury. Some people think they do, but to be surprised how small the world is, especially when money talk. I think because if you travel and you go places and you see things, you're gonna learn some things. You talk to some people, you're gonna learn some things. Yeah, we talk about folk making choices and decisions, but at the end of the day, life is a different ball game. It ain't the way it once was. We got technology. We got a whole different world now. So it's not like, oh, okay, because people out in these streets just are kind of in their own. Okay, so let's get some communication going. 'Cause I gotta see where we are. Anybody got anything they want to say? Feel free. As I said, I'll be back tomorrow. That's the plan. So so let's see See if anybody got anything they want to talk about. Because it's a lot of prisoners attract women because they know the men are gonna be there. They don't like what they see out here. You gotta remember the acting that goes on out here. So they don't like what they see. They like what they can't have. It's the forbidden fruit. Now you can understand that because there's always something that we love the illusion for conclusion. We don't really people like stuff like it's like how the like if it's a man seeing these women on Instagram or OnlyFans and their bodies all big and all that, that illusion. Well, it's the same way women use it with men. They can't. It's the illusion, and that is what is being sold. Sell you on a lifestyle, sell you on something that is wrong and taboo. Because what's regular just is plain and boring, and it also doesn't offer anything. It just tells you what you want to hear, and they like something that they can't have. Because if they could have it, they'd be bored with it, and they find a way to try this. Because it's always grass is always greener, and there's a lot of people that are like that. They don't really fight and work for nothing. You gotta fight and want something if it means something to you. You gotta be willing to roll with the punches, roll up your sleeves. So quick to just leave. Yeah. And if he finds himself spiritually and he with someone that gives him that option, then he gets out there and he can see the light. Because it says that everybody hasn't turned their back on you. But again, it's a lot that you have to be willing to, and challenges is real. But he doesn't even have to be locked up. He can be locked up in how he sees the world. He can be removed from feeling love as a guy that was had stuff and just doesn't feel wanted, been shunned. See, that's the jail that people don't talk about. It's the walking jail. It's the walking cell of a cold world that can leave you cold, so you don't feel nothing. You see people that are extremely musically talented, and they married to their work because their work is all people because they can't have regular relationships. I think that's one thing we can agree on with Michael Jackson. Most of the artists that are successful and big, it, unless of course they're willing to make those sacrifices, they'll never have a regular relationship because that's their why. That's their relationship and that delusion, and that's what people want. Oh, I will tell you this: freedom is in your mind and your spirits. It's got nothing to do with your money, but you have to feel like you're valuable as a soul. It's not about your money. It's not about your lifestyle. There are people who are chained up who got money. They're broke spiritually. They're hopeless mentally, and they're empty as a soul. In your mind, you gotta believe. In your mind, you gotta believe. In your mind, you have to believe. Some people live a very cold, sheltered world, and they don't have anything going for them. So you have to believe. It starts with your spirituality, your soul. If you don't, then you'll be susceptible to everything. It's all about in the mind. Ask yourself how Diddy gets himself in a predicament. Because regardless of what we agree with the charges or not, you are claimed something, but you have to have all this fantasy and all this illusionment to fulfill something else that's a void in your life. Think about it. think about the choices and decisions. Now, I don't necessarily agree with all the charges and all that other stuff, but I'm just talking about there's truth to that because that they just gotta they're doing their time and they're going through thinking. It's all how you look. Some of the most intelligent people you ever meet will be on lockdown too. Well, they fought about something. That's the only thing I can say. They gave up there for something, just like Dr. King and Malcolm. If you about, but if you're about giving up something, you'll understand. That's how Tupac. That's how he got free. Sometimes you just know certain things, but you have to be free to understand that you're only free if everyone else is. It's not just about you, but you have to feel that spirit. And a lot of people have like I said, there's a lot of emptiness. That Turner was about changing the course of the narrative. Harriet Tubman wanted to change the course of the narrative. So, I don't have nothing if all don't have some. We all gotta have something. Or we're just walking around in a circle. And believe me, if people thought like that, they would not allow the the negativity to be welcome in the genocide. But they don't, and that's the sad truth. They rather have someone dictate and tell them what to think and what to feel. That's a concentration camp. You can't go travel where you want with your money, and someone just gonna sit there and stand on you and treat you like you second class citizen, just walk over you, question you, and say ignorant stuff like how you learn English, what you learn, this, all that. That's no way to be talking to a people that's supposed to be intelligent. But that's what they tolerate. So, you know, so that's how I look at it. Anyway, I think I'm about wrapping up. Ain't much going on. We had some great discussion now. I'll come back tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll get a few more heads through. But glad for everyone that did come through. That's some good conversation. So appreciate it though, as always. And again, once I put this thing on the regular uh, podcast, people will be able to access it. But appreciate the ones that did stop through. And thank you as always. It was some very enlightening conversations. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm a one time peace.